Dennis?
Thanks for your remarks. All pretty interesting about regional banks, but I was wondering if you gave any thought to, in the old days, it used to be a bank run where you'd run to the bank and you'd line up and get George Bailey's money and you'd get your money. Now you don't run to get your money, you run to move your money. And in this case, the money's all being moved to the GSIBs because the belief is that the GSIBs are too big to fail. And so uninsured deposits were still uninsured deposits. They just happen to be in a different place where there's a belief that the government will never let them fail. So aren't we really dealing with some of the symptoms, albeit important to do at regional levels? But to me, it kind of highlights the bigger problem, the Damocles sword still hanging over the country from the GSIBs. Have you given any thought to that?
Might surprise you, but yeah, the answer is yeah. And look, there was some of that, but actually, according to the data that we have, perhaps less than was commonly thought. Most of the liquidity that left the regional banks was actually going to non-bank financial institutions by depositors seeking higher yield, rather than to the GSIBs. But it raises a fair point, and so, you know, for a long time we had been preoccupied with thinking about the resolution of GSIBs. Then we woke up and realized these regional banks can cause a lot of trouble, and we've now had an episode where that has been demonstrated. I think the attention on the GSIBs is still critical. It's an enormous challenge. I would argue, and this is another speech or another discussion, you know, about the framework we've put in place in regard to the GSIBs in terms of a TLAC or long-term debt requirement for them, resolution planning requirement for them, an array of authorities under Title II of the Dodd-Frank Act, particularly relating to financial derivatives and the ability to place a consolidated company, meaning the holding company and affiliates, in addition to the bank. It gives us a framework potentially to manage the orderly failure of one of these institutions, but we haven't executed it yet. So, you know, one should be, to say the least, modest in regard to the assertions made. I do think we have a framework in place that holds that potential, but maybe that's a conversation for another day.
So we would be delighted to have you come back for another conversation. In fact, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that you were here talking about digital assets.